All right. Hello, everyone. Here we are again for another Maven's Do It Better podcast, where we interview extraordinary experts who bring a light to our world. And I am wicked excited about a dear friend who is on here today, Leslee Savvy. Hello, darling.
Hello.
How are ya?
I'm doing wonderfully.
Good.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's kind of roller coastery, but I'm doing good. An interesting time we're in for sure.
I do know. It is
Yeah.
definitely interesting. It's a nice way to put it.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So yeah, and I think so Leslie, where are you right now in the world?
I am in San Francisco in the Bay Area
Yes.
in the Sunset near the ocean.
That's right. I love that area of town. And everybody, I'm coming to you from Marina Del Rey HQ here, normal place for me because like many of you, like most of us actually, we're all sheltering in place
Indeed. Yeah.
for the pandemic and COVID-19. And so Leslie and I actually were together, gosh, early March, late February, early March, and got to see each other. And that was sort of the last large gathering that I was at. I think maybe for you as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
so weird. And we were with a bunch of friends as well. So that was, it was a really sort of a special time for our friend's birthday, but then also, it was one of those where a bunch of us have been talking and looking back, what like that's the last time we've all been a bunch of people been together. So um, very different. Almost a month late, over a month later. Yeah,
Oh, yes.
yeah,
Yes. Over a month.
yeah. Well, and Leslie is an amazing chef, and we've how I'm trying to figure out how long we've known each other. It's been a while.
You
Over.
know, maybe close to 10 years, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and when I was back living in Northern California, we got to know each other and through Burning Man and through mutual friendships and stuff. And so our mutual friend Allison, who has been on the podcast, who you all know, who I talk about all the time. So Allison and I were talking on a Zoom phone call, and she was like, she held up this box and she was like, have you talked to Leslie about this yet? And I was like, oh my gosh, we talked when we were together last time. And she's like, yeah, you need to have her on the podcast. And I was like, I know. And so I want to talk about your life as a chef and how you got there. And you've got this new product out in the market called Savor-it, these wonderful savory protein bars. So tell us, let's start with the bars. How did that
Okay.
happen? Yeah.
We can start with the bars, or we can start. I've been a personal chef for over 20 years here in the Bay Area,
Yeah. Well, let's
and
start
I.
there. Let's talk about that. How did that
Okay.
happen? Yeah.
Well, that happened. Honestly, I started cooking when I was a child because I moved in with my father when my parents split, and I had to learn how to cook. So I just started
Yeah.
and was really good at it. And then when I got older, I just realized this was kind of my passion. So I started as a personal chef, as I said, 20 years ago. And I just have all these loving, amazing clients, especially right now. And the biggest thing was seeing them busy, on the go, rushing to meetings, picking up the kids, and all that.
Right.
And, when I'd either be in their kitchen or dropping off food or something like that, I'd see them so rushed. And I'd be like, God, have you had lunch? And no, but I'll get something at Starbucks, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, in my mind, I was like, oh, no, oh, sorry, Starbucks, not to down you, but it was more of, I should have said that.
Their
But
sous vide eggs are really good, but you know what? Home cooked food is always better. Doesn't matter, right?
thank you, thank you.
Yeah, totally. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, so I was like, I need to make something that is quick and healthy that they can have. And I started doing like snacks and things like that for them to have in their homes.
Right.
But then they'd have to put it in a package. And does that package fit in their purse or in their computer bag or whatever? And then does it
Right.
sit in the car? And so then I was like, I noticed that there, as I shop every day for clients, that there are more and more protein bars on the market.
Right.
And, in the beginning, I loved a few of them, but they've changed so much
Mhm.
over the years, and a lot of them are really inexpensive now. So I started to flip over the packaging as I do on most things and take a look on
Right.
what's in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little bit frightened
Ooh.
about seeing what's in the bars. And I don't know if everyone does that, but maybe you should just take a
Right.
look what you're putting in yourself. Um, yeah, because my passion is about how food makes us feel,
Right.
and how it should give you energy and build your mind. It builds your strength into what you're going for. And a lot of these things that are on the market were things that would make me crash in 20 minutes. So
Right.
why do something like that if you're rushing? Okay, say you're rushing to a meeting and you want a quick snack, and then when your boss finally gets to you and asks you a question
You're like,
and you're crashing,
right.
how good is that? It's not any good at all. So I started making the Savor-it bar at savoritbar.com.
Yeah.
And I've had true success. Like it's a delicious flavor. I mean, the flavor is just over the top. It's got a lot of flavors like cumin and chili powder and fennel in it. And it's made with nuts and seeds and spices and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else do you want to know about that? I mean, it's new. It's a startup. It's
Yeah.
something
No, it's
that's,
super cool. I mean, you
yeah,
decided to make something healthy. How about that? You know what I mean? It's something that everybody kind of uses as their go-to when they're running around or needs that. And I agree with you. You know, it's like there's some that I've liked over time, but it is like people also will substitute those for a meal, right? And also they're trying to lose weight potentially or whatever. And like those things have so much sugar and so much sort of carbs and stuff in them. Like it's not a real good substitute, right?
right. It's not. And I'll say this, if you all go to my website, you'll see I posted a little video that I use these sometimes because I work very quickly. Sometimes I have to be extremely impeccable with my work and be on time with my schedule. And sometimes I need something quick, and I can eat one of those and go 4 to 6 hours and not even think about food.
Right.
It's kind of wild. It's really kind of wild. And just be like, wow, it's 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't even eat. So, I also have to say it's made with nuts and seeds. So the fat content is, I would say, higher than some of the bars that are out there. But this is healthy, nutritious fat. It's completely different than the fat that's in the other products.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that's going to build your bones, build your mind, build
This
your joints,
is
build
cool.
your muscles, energy. Yeah.
Yeah. And so so as of right now, so you're in a couple stores, but we can't do that right now because stores are closed for the most part, unless they're essential. But are the stores open that have your bars in them? Do you know?
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
okay. Well, that's good. Because that's all in San Francisco, Bay Area.
Correct. Yeah. Right now, this is a startup. It's brand new.
Yeah,
So
brand
I'm
new.
starting in my hometown.
When
Yeah.
did you launch? It's
I launched just about, let's see, the very beginning of March.
oh my goodness. You're
Yeah,
a month old. Like that's so exciting. How
it
cool.
is. As I was telling you earlier, it's like we've sold over 700 bars, and it's kind of crazy
That's
to
awesome.
sell
Yeah,
that much in
absolutely.
so little time. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
So and they come in boxes of
7.
7 or 28. That's great. This is so cool.
Yeah.
I love it that website up, business created, and food going out the door. That's so great. That's so fun. How and so for folks who, for something like this that's a food product, what did you have to go through to kind of get that all set and ready to go? I'm sure there was some things that were special because it's food, right?
Well, there's a lot of things, just so you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of licensing. There's a lot of FDA rules. Making sure that I'm out of a commercial kitchen, which is another expense, but that's, it all comes with it. It's just,
Yeah.
I just have to say, like the values and the strength of this company is the impeccability of it. And so fortunately I had a few friends that have looked into these things online for me, and they've done extensive research and have the same kind of attitude of kind of like selfless work, like feeding the people, feeding the community, feeding their friends, like
Yeah.
being strong with it. So they have been so helpful to me to get this company moving and rolling. It's been, I wouldn't say easy. I wouldn't say easy, but it's been exciting.
That's
And
cool.
starting this whole business, like the whole branding experience
Isn't that fun?
has I'm doing I'm doing this all by scratch,
Yeah.
just by whatever. And fortunately, we live in this day and age where it's like I can Google anything
Yeah.
and we can just look it up. And so it's been quite an interesting experience for me.
Yeah.
And with what we've done so far, I mean, I hope to be. Well, I mean, just say that. I just know that people love the flavor of this, and they're really excited about it. I already have like past clients that I worked for years ago that have moved, that are now asking for subscription orders to get a case every month, so that it's in their pantry for them. And it's like they don't even have to think about placing the order. It's just going to come once a month.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that. I like that subscription model for certain things too, especially that you use all the time. Something like this, that makes complete sense to me,
Doesn't it though? Yeah.
Might as well. I think that's cool. And I know your food and I know how you are, and it makes complete sense to me that this product is impeccable on all the levels. You know what I mean? And there is something you can cut corners on products, especially food. You can make things cheaper
Mhm.
probably, and or with lesser product inside the product, and that's all about choices. And I think that's something that I care about, and I think more people care about. And I think we're going to see that. I don't know. I think with what we're in the middle of right now, with COVID and people sort of looking at, okay, what do I need versus what do I want, and also how do we support local communities, local businesses, local farmers, all of that kind of stuff. I don't know. I feel that. I feel like there is a serious sort of look into who is making things I don't, there's no right way, but a way that is full of empathy and thoughtfulness and like you were saying, with some selflessness. I don't know. I feel that. Do you feel that?
I've always shopped that way my
Yeah.
whole life.
Right.
I'm always looking for something that, I like new stuff, but I'm loyal when
Yeah.
I find something that I really, really, truly enjoy, and I know that I can digest it well. I
Mhm.
know that it feeds me, and I feel good after I eat it,
Yeah.
and the body functions well after I eat it. That's one of the main things
Yeah.
that I don't know if many people really think about that as much as I do, but I
Right.
think that's what helps me excel in my personal chef business. I also think that that will help this business excel as well, because it's like I don't need to say more.
Yeah.
Um, the idea of most people not looking at their labels, or most people um, just not paying attention, because we can be in a hurry. That's just what it is. Like, we need something and we just go for it.
Mhm.
And of course, sometimes I eat candy bars.
Sure. You do.
Sometimes, I eat stuff. I love food. Food is my passion. But it's
Yeah.
like I really tried my best when I'm shopping. I'm looking. I like to shop local. I like to
Mhm.
shop sustainable business.
Yep.
I am looking into more ecological packaging right now.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but this is a startup, so I am doing it all myself right now,
Oh my goodness. Look
Yeah,
at the stickers and yeah.
pretty much. Not licking them, but it's like I'm putting
Right.
stickers on packaging and things
Right.
like that. Yeah, 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 yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah, no, I mean, there is, I mean, I run a small business. Creative Maven is still, to me, a small business, even though, we've been around, what, oh gosh, 13 years now. And it's ebbed and flowed and changed and all of that. But yeah, there's a lot of it, like, I feel like I'm the CEO, but I'm also I'm the garbage picker upper too, no matter what we do and what client we're using and all of that stuff, and trying to be sustainable and thoughtful about what we do. And the folks that I want to work with as a business, that I want to market the products of, I think about those things. I think about whose perception am I and story am I putting out into the world, and is it one that I'm going to feel proud of saying that person was my client. you know?
Good.
I know
I
it.
love I love hearing that. I love hearing that because it's not the norm for a lot of folks out there.
No.
And then, maybe that's the balance.
Yeah.
I'm not sure,
I,
but
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. And so talk to so what you said about your clients and for personal chefs that and I would assume I mean obviously everybody's super individual and different, but I love the fact that like it's not just like here I'm gonna give you a sandwich, but here and I'm gonna create something for you not only that is the food, but it's something that goes with your lifestyle and or work or whatever so that you can consume it in a way that makes sense or that you know what I mean? Like, we talk more about that because that's super cool. I love that.
As being a personal chef, everyone's life is different.
Yeah.
You have more family members or not. I've worked with, just one person. I've worked with many different types of people,
Right.
people with ailments and so on and so forth. So that is a process that I go through before even starting with them. I have many different Google Docs that I share so that I know exactly what their dislikes are, so that if a recipe that I have has one ingredient that I know they don't like because the menu doc that I send out
Oh,
doesn't have every single ingredient in every single dish for it. So I'm
right.
able to change something up. A matter of fact, on the Savvy Facebook page today, I just posted something for everyone in the COVID that's shopping and doesn't have a certain ingredient.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
they can change it up this way. There's many ways to change things up. Like I made a dish the other day. It was a curry potato cauliflower dish that had peas in it. And of course, I couldn't get any peas in the store for some reason. Peas are a high commodity. So
Yeah.
I used corn and then used cilantro and a little bit of scallion to get the more color effect. So it
That's so,
still had the sweetness and the
right.
color, and they loved it. Um,
That's so cool.
yeah, thanks. But for each client and their changes, it's like, that's how I structure this business is to kind of feed people things that are healthy that they can get in restaurants, but
Mm.
they know that in restaurants in God, okay, I digress. So when I start with clients, I ask them certain questions like, do you drink alcohol? Do you like different types of oil? Do you like different types of citrus? Things like that. And that will help me to understand their palate.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when I do my first interview, I'm not able to go into their homes or walk into their kitchen. They don't take me in there, which I can see if they've got 5 different kinds of oils or vinegars
Right. Right.
or salts out. That tells me what they like.
Right.
So, so I have to devise these menus that I can work with after these questions that I ask.
Okay.
And, so I print out a document of what they like and what they don't like, and then I could just tailor it to their interests. And I can't tell you how many times I've had amazing reviews on Yelp or on my webpage
Mm.
of people that are just like, oh my gosh, we used to get home with the kids. Or we'd pick up the kids and we'd get home and we'd rush to make dinner, and then in 15 minutes we'd have to take a bath, and then we'd have to try to get them in bed. And now we have an hour and a half to 2 hours with our kids to just play
Oh,
because we're not trying to make, shop, prep, cook, clean up.
that's so
We're doing
nice.
all this stuff. So it's like these things, this business as being a personal chef, I love it. It is such, yes, they do pay me, but it is such selfless work for me. It's very karma yoga, I have to tell you. It is so selfless work for me because they just,
So cool.
most people, I'm sure your clients know what karma yoga is.
Yeah. I would.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
mean,
hope so.
yeah, I would think so. But tell everybody. Tell the listeners. Tell them what that
Uh, okay, karma yoga is one of the 4 spiritual paths of Hinduism.
Yep.
It's like referred to yoga of action. It's within the belief that right work done well is a form of like a prayerful action. It's like the path of personal growth, proving like self above service. So like putting self above service putting this of your own interests and just being of service to someone else to help make their lives better, more virtuous, more comfortable, spend more time with their family is so big, you know. It's so big for me. Um, it's like this, the karma yoga runs throughout my whole life. I spend so
Cool.
much time interacting with, like, I'm not as social as I used to be when I was younger. I spend so much more time. I'm running 2 businesses now, but
Mhm.
I spend so much time with butchers and my produce people and all these people that I interact with,
Right.
that this kind of yoga, this stretching of my brain is so helpful to me, because I take the time to look them in the eye and say good morning.
Yep.
Even if I'm not hanging out in their neighborhood of the store, I'm like, I take the time
Mhm.
to just say something, and to have them hear my voice, know my voice, turn with a smile on their face
Yeah.
and greet me back, and just, it's that's for me is part of my true happiness in life, is just having those quaint, intimate, little teeny tiny experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. It's like it's moments or experiences or sparks or whatever you want to call those things. But like those are the things that like we don't. I have a fascination with this, Leslie, actually, and it's about, to me. There's like we often remember the big moments of our lives, right? And we have big defining moments of things, and then sometimes there are those many moments, and we don't always often realize that one little thing, maybe that thing that you said to somebody, one of those, the butcher or whoever, maybe that changed that person's life,
Indeed.
like a like a huge shift, and they may not even remember or know it or whatever, or they might, but like I think that happens all the time. And what you're talking about to me is just, we get one that we remember life, right? So like every moment is a chance to change somebody else's world and your own, I think.
You know what? I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
And this is one of, like, the heights of my life, being able to learn these types of practices.
Mhm. Yeah.
I have a mentor in life and in my spiritual practice,
Mhm.
and that learning these things within the past years has really changed my life incredibly.
Yeah.
It is, you know, right off the bat, it's made me happier, more prosperous,
Yeah.
more fun, more active in
Yeah.
life. Like, I feel like I'm freaking rocking it. Yeah, it's like, it's so
Awesome.
great to walk into a place like Cheers and people say, Norm. It's like I kind of feel like that when I walk past a butcher, and 5 of the butchers out of 5 turn around and say, hey, Leslie, can I
Yeah.
help you? And like, they want to help me because they know I'm going to enjoy their company. They're going to enjoy my company. We're going to talk about something fun for the moment. And I'm going to move on. And I'm really like, cheers. And I'm going to honk my horn when I see them walk into the store, on
Yeah.
the street. If I see them, I'll honk the horn and be like, hey, they're going to, yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, no, and it's community, right? As
Hmm.
well, which is so wonderful to build. Like I feel like sometimes, like I've lived all over the place, right? And I have communities in many cities. But there's something to that, like, I don't know, when I go to New Orleans, DBA is my place, like, and I know bartenders there, and I know people in Frenchmen, or if I'm whatever city it happens to be. And if you're lucky, you live in one place for a really long time, depending, and so you have your people that you're connecting with and building things with. I mean, how cool is that, like, your suppliers know what you do with their product, and that you're taking care of people with that. Like, that's super cool.
Thank you. And it's awesome. Yeah, the first store that's on my website, that is selling the bars right now is Other Avenues, which is the co-op where I have shopped for over 20 years.
Ah,
I shop there for my clients every single week. I know every single person in the store. They
yeah,
all know me, and they're now carrying my product, and they're
yeah,
happy to. They're excited about it, and it's
yeah. No,
yeah, it's building that community, which is real. And now to the point of that, which is kind of funny, because there's a line, and I got to stand in line. And so what I've done, this is funny, Heather. What I've done is because now with the bar, because in the past I would go and give people samples and they'd be like, oh gosh, this is great. But then having it just be in a place without a sample there,
right.
people are like, what's this? Especially in this kind of energy, which has been kind of tight
Yeah.
and a little uncomfortable.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I made these, they're on my website now. I just posted it the other day, these prepackaged samples.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so they're like a little, like 1.5 by 1 square of the bar
Oh, yeah.
with, I got some free business cards out of whatever. And so I cut my website off and just taped it to the little teeny prepackaged bar or
Right.
sample. And when I'm in lines, especially the security guards, I make sure I give one every single day. I'm like, oh, you want a snack? And they're like, yeah. Or just as I'm standing in line, I'm like, hey, I've got, especially at Other Avenues,
Yeah.
where I buy my products for this bar and
Right.
sell in the store. It's like, I'm selling a bar here. Would you like to try a sample? And then get in conversation and the joy that I can see through a mask on
Right.
someone of just having a conversation with someone in a mask. And they're like excited about it. And I'm like, it's cool if you don't buy it. It's just been really nice to talk to you today because we're standing out here for 20 minutes waiting to get in the shop.
Yeah. Yeah. No
It's been
kidding.
nice.
Yeah. Well, and that's that community stuff building as well. And that, like our people who feed us, and whether it's, grocery store, this whole talk of the word essential, which is a very interesting conversation as well. But
Indeed.
like restaurants and farmers and farmers markets, like the farmers market across the street here from where I live has been a blessing, because
Oh,
trying to get like people like eggs or just certain things are out. You just can't get them, like you were saying. Like people are digging around and they're like, well, there's a can of beets in here from like 2 years ago. Should I eat this?
no, don't,
And no is the
don't.
answer, right?
Read your labels, people. Please
Yes,
read your labels. Make sure, make
yeah.
sure.
But it is there's something to the local grocer and the butcher and all of that stuff that I think that we've gotten away from with the big box stores, and some of
Yeah.
the, like, when we can get a case of whatever. I love that connection to the community and the people who, like yourself, like you're feeding your community and others around the world who can buy online from you, but also like it's that wonderful local supply chain that you're feeding people who live in the community from the food that is made in the community, from the co-op that is the community, like that circle is awesome. So
Right on. Right on. I'm
obviously
right
I
there.
get it and I love it, but I mean, it's one of those, we don't always think about it, you
I
know?
do, but most people don't. But
Right.
I do.
It's like you don't think about where your food comes from, until all of a sudden, you get some headline that's like, we may not have any of X, blah, 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 blah. And then everybody freaks out and goes to and does some of the weird stuff that's happened in this past month.
Hmm.
So there's something to knowing your people around you. It's like I take it back to that, like, like when like I grew up in the Midwest, right? And you knew your neighbors, and you'd like, it was like that, you walk over and be like, can I get a cup of sugar? you,
Right. Oh.
or like I always
Oh.
laugh and I say, can I get a cup of rum? But whatever. you know
Okay, well, I have a moment, funny story.
yeah.
When I was out of oregano and my neighbor upstairs heard a gentleman is Italian and doesn't speak English, and to go upstairs and be able to ask if he had oregano, and he He understood me, which was lovely, and he felt so pleased to give it
Yeah,
to me. It was the sweetest, most quaint moment. It was
that's
like,
so awesome.
thank you so much. Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's
But I love
so
that. Yeah, because life used to be about that. Like, you got a cup of sugar. I need an egg, or I need,
great.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't know each other. I don't think like we have in the past necessarily. Some people do, but even my apartment building, it's like I just moved into a new apartment and in the same building, and I actually met a neighbor across, and I was like, gosh, I didn't know I had friends in the building, but I didn't know my neighbors, you know what I mean? Interesting, when you're like, oh, maybe I should do that. Oh, that's a good idea, like,
Good for you.
yeah,
Good for you.
yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
Oh, I have a question for you. So
sure.
what was like, I know that you were talking about that you were cooking at a young age and with your dad for your family there. Do you remember the first thing that you cooked? Like, what was your first dish or like,
Oh God, this is really funny.
yeah.
This is gonna tell my age probably. For
Oh,
a very short time, I was in the brownies, which was before the Girl Scouts.
girl, I was too. Come on.
Okay, but I was only in it for a short time because I got kicked out. Whatever, blah blah blah.
Oh
But
goodness.
I had to make a dinner for this certain badge, and um, my mom really she cooked. She was a cook. She cooked for their family. But my mom, rest her soul, her chicken in the broiler was like leather. And everything was canned vegetables and frozen vegetables and whatnot, such. So that's how I grew up, and that's how I changed when I learned I had to cook for myself, which I learned steamed
Wow.
vegetables and rice was my mainstay. But my first meal that I ever cooked was really for this badge, and I made hot dogs
Oh
and
my goodness.
Jello 1, 2, 3, which is something that was on the market that basically it was like a Jello product, the powdery product. You
Uh-huh.
mix it up and it's separated into 3 different levels in a clear glass. So it had this
Oh wow.
I know, clear gelatinous thing on the bottom that was chocolate, and
Mhm.
then a more darker chocolatey thing, and then a more creamy
Oh,
chocolatey kind of thing. So how weird was that? And I'm sure I have no idea. Hopefully that is released from the body. I'm sure it's not. Yeah,
in
like
some
food
crevice
products
of
out there.
oh my goodness.
Pardon me. What'd you say?
I was like in some crevice of the coal, or like large intestine. Is it still stuck somewhere in there? I don't know.
So it honestly it's somewhere because everything that we eat
Hmm.
makes our body, makes our mind, makes our thoughts,
Yeah.
like everything makes we cut our hair off, but we can't cut our bones off. We can't cut our muscles off. We can't
Yeah.
cut our organs off,
Right.
so it's in there and it
Interesting.
doesn't completely, I don't believe, this is my theory and you can prove me wrong. I'm sure you can prove me wrong, but it's like every thought, every action is in the body as well.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us. It's how we are, how we present ourselves daily in the world is who we are from the moment we're born to the day we die.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was gonna say, who said you are what you eat? Somebody said that. I was wondering. I was gonna look that up. I was like,
My mom.
yeah, right? I know you like my mom too, right? Like seriously, your mom and my mom. It's probably some English. Here we go. English language from some Meditations de Gastronomie. Uh,
Awesome.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. But you are what you eat, right? You are what you say, you are what you do, like all of those things. I talk a lot about personal brand with folks, and it is words matter, and what you put what comes out of your mouth and what you put into your mouth matters.
Right on. Right on. Right on. I'm all about that. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to, what you're eating it, it's like, okay, yeah, I like popcorn. Yeah, I like ice cream. Yeah, and I'm putting it in for that reason.
Yeah.
but most of the time I'm eating so I can have energy and strive and thrive,
Yeah.
and savor life. That's really what I'm about.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love
yeah, yeah.
that. Savvy Savor, Savor Savvy. Kind of
Savor
good with your last name.
I know, Leslee Savvy. It's kind of wild.
I
Kind
know.
of wild.
It's a
Well,
good,
that was the other reason why naming the bar Savor-it, you
yeah.
know, because it's like, well, one of my friends says, well, it rhymes with favorite. I'm like, yeah, that too. That
Oh
too.
yeah.
But
I love a rhyme. I love alliteration. Big fan of all those things.
nice. You too.
That's so
Awesome.
cool. So personal chef. So folks, so are you full up for your personal chefing in the Bay Area?
I could take on one more, but right now the bar sales are so big that I'm banking on that extra date.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
I lost one at the beginning of the COVID, and I've just been so busy baking
Yeah.
and marketing and doing Facebook ads and doing all this other stuff. I just built that new website that you were looking at.
Mhm. Yeah.
That has had really, really good experience with that. And as I said, I'm doing all this from scratch. I'm building this whole brand from scratch. So it's like this is all new for me. So I'm learning all this new, exciting stuff.
Yeah.
A girlfriend of mine helped me with the design work on the packaging, and she's taking care of two elderly parents right now, which she said was a good distraction for her to do this artwork, but I'm not necessarily sure that she needs me contacting her with questions or things like that. So I think I'm going to learn that next. So it's like I've learned so much. I mean, as a chef, learning all this, technical and Google Docs and sheets and all this stuff is just like, it's blown me away how quickly I've learned. And I'm thankful that I believe the person who did all this had dyslexia within someone was really, maybe it was a cutting and pasting
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. Yeah, so it's like, it's really helpful for me to just be able to streamline everything with everything I've been learning, which is a lot
Yeah.
within the last few months. A lot, I'll tell you. I've
That's
got two new flavors I'm building as
oh,
well.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So that, excuse me, the first bar, like all the bars are sending kind of a message with the coloring
Mm-hmm.
of the bars. It's like our target audience kind of
Right.
situation. And
Yep.
like orange is like it's power, it's confidence,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Love
That
it.
color is power. It's confident.
Yep.
Green is our next bar, which is more, okay, I digress. Our original flavor is that orange color. So it's like fennel, cumin, and chili powder. That's the
Okay.
main state flavors.
Gotcha.
Next one is green. And again, that color is all about love and health. So that one is more like ginger and sesame and tamari and more, yeah, in that neighborhood.
Good.
And then the next one is going to be blue. And that's like the center of strength and focus,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
And that one is going to be more, I'm going to say a little more, for me, Mediterranean, like
Mm.
chickpeas, sumac, pumpkin seed, like more of that neighborhood. It's going
Cool.
to be, so each bar is, for at least these first three bars,
Yeah.
they're more kind of focused on a different flavor in
Mhm.
life, different, like not necessarily country, but like because as a personal chef, I incorporate all those things into my food for clients that love certain things
Yeah.
or can't have peanuts. So then I
Right.
try to change it up a little bit. So yeah, each different bar flavor is it's supposed to be exciting.
Yeah.
When you eat, it's supposed to like tantalize your mouth. I mean, it's like,
Mhm.
that's supposed to be happening, right? And that's what's going on. So, yeah, that's where my focus is now.
I love it. That's super exciting. So, wow. Well, and we're going to put all of the ways to get your hands on the bars in the show notes and how to connect with Leslie and all of that good stuff for sure.
Oh
This
my
is
gosh.
so exciting. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know what? For your listeners,
yeah.
for your listeners, hey, you guys, there's a place to write me a message on there. And if you guys want a 20% discount, write me a message and I'll email you the discount code.
Oh, cool. We're gonna hook this up with you and figure it out and make sure we know exactly what to do. So
Yay.
yeah,
Awesome.
that's so cool. Yay. All right, listeners. 20% off the Savor-it protein bar. This is
And
awesome.
you can get that on your first 2 orders.
First 2 orders. Okay. Love
Yeah.
it. That's so cool. Well, I have one more question for you.
Yep.
I talked a little bit earlier about sparks and moments and all of that stuff. And one thing I always ask everybody to end the chit chat is what person, place, thing, moment, book, poem, doesn't matter. It's always different for everybody, but will you share with our listeners one thing, a spark that really seats you in who you are today? Maybe it's,
For who I am today.
yeah, in this moment, right here, right
Right here, right now, I have to say, a big part of it is karma yoga.
now. Mm-hmm.
But the other part is I meditate daily and twice a day. And those are my sparks. Those are and in those times when I'm trying to quiet my brain and I get to that really quiet space
Yeah.
is when the smart side of my brain turns on and gives me clues and tells me or helps me to focus on my direction. And I've got to say that, I mean, I've studied meditation for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And I'm now studying a different style, but they're all this very similar.
Yep.
And it's that, I mean, I believe that's what's made me who I am today with being so successful with this bar is that kind of purposeful, impeccable energy for myself on a daily basis, that self-care that I take just for myself. And honestly, right now, Heather, I'm doing this when I go out to the shop after I wake up in the morning and I meditate probably a half an hour or more. And then I go out to the shop to shop for a customer or clients. And then I come home, I put everything in the refrigerator, I come home and I sit for another 10, 15 minutes. And I just balance myself so I can put that love, strength, and energy into the food and not be marbled by the weird just energy thoughts and crap that's out there right now, because I'm thankful for who I am here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'm
love
happy to be alive, happy to be working and
Yeah.
looking out my beautiful window right now in this stunning garden, looking at your beautiful face right now. It's like,
Yeah.
this is brilliant, beautiful, joy.
Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that. I believe in meditation too. I really I have not been practicing as long as you have, but I dip in and out, but I'm working very hard to make it something every day. And I tell everybody that they need to do it every day. um, as part of sort of that morning ritual, or whenever. But I for the last year and a half, I did it before I went on stage to speak.
Good job.
And that was so grounding. And the first time I did it, I mean, I love speaking and being on stage and all that stuff, theater geek and all, the tech speaker and all of that jazz. But like, just that moment of like, fine, you need to put the microphones on me and all that stuff. But I'm like, okay, I need a moment before I go do this. And it is so essential. And I think it's essential as a daily practice. I love that you said that. And that's super cool. I think it changes things. And I think it's right now, like with the energy that's around and everything, we take that stuff on. I completely agree with you. And being able to center yourself and find some connection and there's nothing better.
You're right. There is nothing better because we all are intuitive beings.
Yeah.
And all those thoughts walking past us wherever we are affect us. And so, yeah, right on. And I'm going to say this, honey, is that if you have, if you're in a rush and you think you can't meditate, sit for 10, 15 minutes, sit for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
do whatever you can. Just try to make it a daily. And I'm not going to preach to you or anything. It's more just like, I know what it's done. Yeah, I know what it's done for me and how much it helps me on a daily basis in every situation, relationship, like driving, anything, everything. It helps me with. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
Thank you
I'm
for sharing
thankful.
that with everybody. That's super cool. I
Yeah.
love it. I'm so, I mean, I adored you forever anyway, like, and we're friends and stuff, but I was just like, oh my goodness, she's done this thing, and you've been continually doing great things. And the personal chefs, thank you for sharing how you started that and been doing that. And then this bar, I mean, and a business. Congratulations, really. That's something,
Thank you.
yeah, it's huge. Starting a business is no joke, you
No,
know?
it's not. And this is the second one. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like doing them at the same time, which is kind of kooky, but it's fun and I can do it. I can do it. I know I can.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. Well, Han, thank you for being on and having this chat with me and getting to see you and just spend more time. And I always learn so much about people, and I'm always like, oh, all these things I didn't know. So fun.
It has been my pleasure looking at your smile. Definitely. Yeah. And talking with you. Definitely.
Right on.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, appreciate you sharing your story with our listeners, and everybody will put all the notes up on how to get the discount on the
Oh,
bar,
yeah.
the first two orders, and where you can find Leslie in the world. And she's in the Bay Area in California here, just north of where I am. And thanks again, Hun, for being on. Congratulations. Yay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Yay. Everybody. All right. That has been another episode of the Mavens Do It Better podcast. And here is to another beautiful day on this big blue spinning sphere, and sending out love and goodness, and stay safe to everybody during these times and at all times. Thanks. Bye.